You're listening to Make Today Count podcast. I'm Jessica Morari, certified life and career coach, and I will be your host. If you're ready to think better, choose better, and act even when it's messy, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's make today count. Hello, my friend. Welcome to a new episode of Make Today Count. As you can see, I'm in a completely different setting today. The black background is gone. My big mic has been substituted by this portable one, and I'm recording this episode from Italy. I'm traveling, and as I made a commitment to drop an episode every week, I didn't want to use being out of Dubai as an excuse of not recording any. So I'm using what I have to make it work, and I'm sure you're gonna love this episode because I bet you will relate to at least one of the things that I'm gonna share today. This episode is going to be a little bit different from the ones that I've done so far, at least when it comes to inspiration. Usually when I prepare an episode and I think about the topic and what takeaways I can share with you guys, I draw inspiration from clients' experiences. So I use what they bring to the sessions, always respecting their privacy and confidentiality, and I bring patterns that I see during workshops or at events that I host. So in short, I drew inspiration from what goes on around me. However, for this episode, I have decided to do exactly the opposite. So I've looked inside of myself and I've drawn experience from my own. And actually, it's going to be a kind of interesting episode for me to record because it's going to be like a journey. I'm going to share with you, and at the same time, I will reflect and even get more insights. I have called this episode the 7 excuses that I used to fork up my life. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. Now, when I say fork up my life, I don't mean in a dramatic way. I haven't messed up big time. As far as I know, I haven't ruined my life by making decisions I deeply regret. And when I say fork up my life, I mean that I've used these excuses so many times to play small. I have lost opportunities, I have given up experiences, I have missed out on so many things, and I've surely made not some steps towards the life that I wanted or to the person that I wanted to become. And I'm talking about all of this as all the times that I've sabotaged myself, or all the times that I have given up and prevented my growth and of my evolution. And for someone who, as me, has made of evolution and growth a lifestyle and a mission, it was a really hard time to realize and accept all this. All these excuses I've used have made me fail even before I was starting, because most of the times I use them not to take action or not to make a decision. So why am I sharing all of this today? Not because I'm a masochist and I enjoy saying it out loud all the ways I hold myself back, but mostly for 2 main reasons. The first one is that we all think that those around us have all figured it out. We see their lives from outside, we see it on Instagram, we see their successes, and we think that we are the ones that have something wrong or that we haven't figured out yet. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. I'm a coach, and sometimes people think I have it figured out, and I don't. I struggle with my mindset, I sometimes don't feel confident, and I sometimes have lots of mental objections to deal with, and I also have daily challenges. I'm human, you are human, and even those who pretend they have it figured out, well, they don't. They're pretending. And the second reason why I'm sharing this and I'm creating this episode is because as I'm going to say these 7 excuses, you might be finding yourself thinking, you know what, I've been telling myself exactly the same. And you might realize that's what's been, in so many ways, forking up your life too. So yeah, double journey here, mine and yours as usual. So let's go with the first excuse, which is I am not ready. And I put this one as first, but it could be first, second, and third because I said it so many times that I can't even pretend right now that it's not an excuse. If I look back and I analyze all the times I said it, I swear, I was just scared of taking the steps, and I was honestly too coward to saying it out loud. And sometimes I didn't want to do that thing for any reason, and I was finding a comfortable way to call myself out without saying it out loud. I have used this excuse for basically anything. I've used it in my career, in business, in relationships, and I've lost so many opportunities that I can't even count, to be honest. I have not applied to vacancies because I was not ready for that role. I have applied and then chickened out in the middle of the process, or I didn't accept the final offer because it was feeling too big at the end. And I even passed down promotion, and even in my business, I've postponed launches of services and I haven't launched at all some of them. I have avoided delivering pitches or passed down collaborations opportunity or even clients that were quite big because I didn't feel ready. And of course, experience teaches me, and it taught me a lot. So the more I coach and the more I train and the stronger I become as a coach, but you see what I mean. And maybe you've been using the same excuse to avoid commitments in work, in a relationship, or you are delaying experiences, but just for the fact that you say that you're not ready. I have spent 30, almost 4 years now by protecting myself from imaginary failures. And I'm telling you, I'm never 100% ready. There is always a part of me, even if it's way tinier and the voice is smaller right now than it used to be, but there is always this kind of little voice at the back of my mind that throws this kind of objection when I want to do something new or something bigger, and sometimes it's scary. The difference now is that I catch myself saying and thinking, I'm not ready, and I go forward anyway, even when I'm not ready. This is not an excuse. You can get ready as much as you can and then just take the leap. The second most used excuse I've used is, this is just who I am. Now, there are several ways of saying this without saying it. So I'm going to give you a few examples so you can pretend that you don't know. You can say something like, I'm bad at this, or I'm bad at that, or I've always been that way, or this is just not me. And my friend, this is a very poor excuse for your behaviors to give to other people, but also to yourself, especially to yourself. We're not monuments. We are human beings. We are alive, we evolve, we change, and you have the right, and I add the duty to change if there is something about yourself you're not happy about, or if it's something that's not helping you to get where you want or to become the person you want to be. A few years ago, there was this lady that she didn't used to eat any vegetables. Actually, she used to eat just raw carrots, but that was the only vegetable in her diet. Well, all of a sudden, and when I say all of a sudden, it means like in a week, she made the decision to go fully plant-based. And she did it. She tried a good load of new vegetables, all of them, and introduced the ones that she liked the most as part of her daily diet. So for 25 plus years, this lady used to say things like, I just don't like vegetables. That's just who I am. I'm not a vegetable person. And then she went all the way in and changed what and challenged what she thought and she said because she wanted a change. And spoiler, that lady was me. Now, I hope you get your veggies regularly, but that's not the point. The point is that sometimes we put labels on ourselves to avoid doing what feels uncomfortable. We pretend and we hide behind these, this is not me, or this is just who I am. And sometimes when we pretend and we keep staying where we are, we end up doing something that doesn't belong to us anymore because you've always done it that way and you're not able to change it. Nowadays, I have this habit of questioning myself. I question who I am, I question what I think, what I say, my relationships, even my values. And I do it quite often because I want to make sure that I'm aligned with everything. And maybe I need to change something. It's not about forcing your own nature, but it's about finding ways of making a change by integrating, always on your own terms. Remember, this is always on your own terms, what you want. So for example, if you are an introvert, but you want to grow your business and you want to start networking, you might catch yourself saying, that's just not who I am. I don't like selling. I'm just not a seller. You can do this. Or you can start by reaching out to 3 founders every day to practice your pitch or to get collaborations or to maybe simply find support. The third excuse is simple and plain, and again, used it many, many times. I need to figure everything out first. To be fair, this is something that I see very, very often in clients too. And that mostly happens when we're facing a big change in our life, maybe a career change, or we're starting something new, we're taking a new step in the relationship, or we are relocating. But in some cases, it's maybe smaller changes, but something that you've postponed for such a long time that it becomes scarier and scarier the more you wait. This excuse is quite sneaky because I'm someone methodical and organized, and I absolutely love planning. So I have often disguised this excuse, this need of clarity for the process and the steps. And I use it to avoid action. So I was saying, if I don't know how to do something, if I don't have a clear path, then I can't take action. Now, I have this clear framework I use in my coaching, that's clarity, mindset, habits, and action. And in this framework, yes, the clarity comes first. But sometimes, and I've said this before in some episode, and I'm sure that I will say this again, sometimes clarity comes through action. Actually, sometimes we need to reverse that framework to get more understanding. And this is quite relevant if you're someone who tends to overthink or to procrastinate. Action first, you get the data, and then you adjust based on the feedback and on that clarity that you claim that you wanted. The fourth excuse I've used to fork up my life many times is, when I will, then I will. And stay with me because I know that this one is a bit complex to understand now, but it's one of the most common. There are countless of situations where I've said things like, when I will have more money, I will invest myself. When I will find a partner, then I will be happy. When I will have more time, then I will start exercising. I can tell you hundreds more. And I'm sure that you're doing it too, because I told you, this is something very, very common. I see it all the times. We postpone the responsibility, our ability to respond to the current situation, and we put a condition on the results. Something needs to happen for that other thing to happen, or for me to feel in a certain way. When I catch myself saying something like this, I have learned to ask myself some questions. So maybe I'll ask, how can I start doing this right now? What is preventing me for real from doing it right now? Because sometimes it's not, there's an excuse right there. And I promise you that 95% of the times, the when I will, then I will, it's an excuse for procrastination or to feel the discomfort of taking an action right now. Excuse number 5, and this is one of my favorite. Actually, I'm quite affectionate to all of these excuses because, as I said, I use them a lot in my life, so we became friends. So number 5, I work better under pressure. No, I don't. Nobody works better under pressure. I get things done under pressure because I know the deadline is right in front of me, so I can't procrastinate any longer. But I have proven myself time and time again that the quality of the output is not excellent. It's not at the best of my abilities. And I believed in this excuse for such a long time. But I really had to give in and admit that it was just another way of lying to myself and of getting, honestly, lower results when I could really move my ass earlier and do so much better. Excuse number 6, we're getting to the end of the list, and it feels like I have been confessing my sins. I don't have enough time, or I don't have enough money. I think I've used both of these excuses equally a number of times, but I've also combined them to support my point and make my excuse even stronger. I have spent a shaming amount of time and money on stuff that really didn't bring any kind of value to me. And when we talk about wasted time, I know that the first thing that comes to our mind nowadays is scrolling, for example, on social media. And I'm not telling you that in my case that doesn't sum up somehow, but it wasn't on the top of my list. I have already talked in a previous episode, I think that it was number 9, about the time audit. So if you catch yourself saying a lot, I don't have enough time, I suggest you go and watch that episode too, because it's going to help. Anyways, this excuse is as old as time. And honestly, I don't want to throw in some motivational quote because, as I said at the beginning, I don't want make today count for that one, and I want to stay away from absolutism. I don't know if it exists as a word, but I don't want to make everything absolute and oversimplify concepts. But I'll tell you what, you can find ways to make more time and space and invest the money where you think it's worth it. What you spend on, both in terms of money and time, tells you your priorities. So if I really want to make more space for something, that's a priority for me, I get to make it happen. I've proved it to me time and time again. I say I don't have time and I finally find time to do it because I really want to do it. I say I don't have money, but I always find money to get a massage at least once a week because that's a priority for me. And now we've gotten at the end, and I've kept excuse number 7 at last, not because I have used it or said it less, but because it's something that, again, I see very often in my clients too. The excuse is, I don't need anyone because I'm independent. I've used this a lot. And among all the 7 excuses, these might be the one that has messed up the most in many different ways for me, not just personally, but also professionally. I have always hidden behind the fact that I'm a lone wolf. I'm someone very independent. I like things to be done in my way. And let's say that I also take a lot of pride in the fact that I kind of do everything alone. And I very seldom ask for help. And still of today, that's one of the things that I'm mostly working on and that I'm actively trying to improve. If I had to say one of the things that slows me down the most and even prevent me to maybe scale my business or doing more and being more, this is definitely the one. I've been relying more and more on people in the last few years, but this is something that still work in progress, so I feel you. When I say that you rely on people, it means that sometimes you need to trust people to do something for us. Sometimes it can be that you need to delegate something to your partner, to your team, to your friends, to your family. Sometimes it means that I need to hire another coach to help me see what I can't see right now. Or maybe sometimes I ask for a favor or a hug or even a tea together if I need, which is not something that I've used to do for a long time. What was really hard for me to understand is that not asking for help or support is not a symptom of independency. But a lot of times it comes from a lack of confidence. It comes from a fear of feeling rejected, and sometimes a fear of trusting the rest of us. And there is a lot of people in my safety net, the people I love, the circle of close friends, the network that I've built in my profession throughout the years, and the community that I'm in Dubai. There is so much that these people could have given me more than I've done if I only had let them. So again, a good reminder that sometimes we don't need to walk all the paths alone. I told you that at the beginning that this was going to be a little bit of a different episode, but I'm sure that you and I have at least one excuse in common that you're also using. So if you are a bit tired, like I was, of holding back and playing small and not getting what you deserve, I suggest that you and I have a chat. In the description, you can find the link to book a discovery session. And if you're wondering what it is, we basically sit together for 20 minutes and we explore together how I can support you in your journey, whatever that means. And yes, it's on me and there is no strings attached, so feel free to reach out and I'm going to be more than happy to have a talk. It's all for this week, my friend. I talk to you soon, and don't forget to make today count. Ciao!